All right. If you want to catch 100+ coyotes in a year trapping, this is your episode. Colt with Coyote Academy is on right now.
Hey, I'm KJ, dedicated lifelong hunter here. If you got an interest in all things hunting, you're in the right spot. Whether chasing quail across the plains of Oklahoma or in pursuit of elk in the backcountry of British Columbia, you'll always find me on the hunt.
Welcome in, all you Gun Talk hunters. I'm your host, KJ, and you know what? We're gonna close out this year in style. So I'm sitting there and I'm cruising the interwebs like you do on the socials, and I guess the powers that be really came through, and I guess I had said coyote hunting or I'm sick of coyotes, something to that nature, because a channel popped up on my Facebook feed. Never seen this guy before, never have talked to him, but the videos he's putting out got me intrigued. I mean, it was like hook, line, and sinker. So hang on to your hats because this one's going to be a fun one. This one is brought to you by Ruger, Range Ready Studios, Silencer Central, Savage RCBS, and Hodgdon Powders. With me today is Colt. Colt owns Coyote Academy, and I'm going to let him tell you about it, but this is the channel that popped up in my feed, and I had to get a hold of him because, one, his videos are ridiculous. How many coyotes he is able to trap and maintain like that pace is unbelievable. Colt, welcome on.
Hey, thanks for having me, KJ. I really appreciate it.
Man, okay. Let's get a little bit of your background, and then let's dive into Coyote Academy and how this Coyote Academy came to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So growing up, I grew up in kind of a rural setting, middle class, lower middle class. Mm-hmm. And if you lived where I lived, you worked at a sawmill or you were a farmer, and not a big farmer, but, just made ends meet. So I went through high school and I said, I don't want to, be stuck here in the same whirlpool, and went and got a college degree, and then I did 7 years and became a physician assistant. And I do orthopedics now. And so I also run an urgent care part-time. So I have a full-time and a part-time job, and then I run Coyote Academy. I was in, the end of my schooling, and I had always trapped growing up. I actually had a really good mentor that lived probably 1.5 miles from my house. And he came up and, asked me if I wanted to go trapping. And then I was hooked, so it's like you guys getting buck fever or something.
Yeah.
I just, seeing that and knowing you did it and you got that animal to get so close. And it's just like, that's my adrenaline. That's my drug, I guess. Yeah. And not saying I have to go out and right, kill or dispatch hundreds and hundreds of animals, but if there's a need for that, then by all means use the tool that you have.
Right.
So I finished up my schooling and was able to make a good living wage. So I was able to buy an arsenal of traps. I bought, everything. I bought the best equipment because I couldn't when I was younger. I didn't have the means. And so, everyone says, what's the best tip that you can give a new and upcoming trapper or new upcoming outdoorsman? And I say, try to become financially stable in whatever you're doing, because, trapping's not cheap. It's not cheap. A dozen traps doesn't get you far. And,
right,
those run $300. Well, I have 20 dozen traps, and just of one brand. I have other brands with multiple. Right. So you get thousands of dollars. And then I built my own building, a 24 by 24 building, to do all of my processing, bait making, lure making, getting urine and getting it, bottled up so that it's perfect. I've actually even been working on a deer scent. So I'm going to try and come up, but yeah, you can find all that on my website, like you mentioned. And the coyote bug really came in 2017, and that's when I started seeing all these guys bought videos. I have professional education, but no formal trapping education. Didn't go to any. There's a lot of trapping schools out there.
Yeah.
The FTA has the Trappers College that's accredited by Purdue, I believe. And so I didn't have any formal education. So I was more boots on the ground, reading books, watching videos, VHSs even because they were so old.
Yeah.
I don't even know if people remember VHSs
Is that
nowadays.
thing that has this like tape thing that goes and it goes in,
Yeah.
and every once in a while you'll jam a like peanut butter sandwich in there? Yeah, one of those.
Yeah. Or you got to unspool it.
Yes.
So I saw all these guys catching big numbers of coyotes and really doing it. And guys like up in New York doing it, guys in Pennsylvania, Maryland, down in North Carolina. There's guys that catch a lot of predators.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be like, I mean, I wanted to do that. I was emulating those guys. I looked up to a lot of those guys and still do. But I never really heard of anyone catching over 100 coyotes in Ohio. And so I wanted to do that. And I wanted to do that on a consistent measure over a 3-4 year span. So over 4 years, I caught 100 coyotes in Ohio, pretty much trapping the same areas, building on to properties and then cutting away from properties. But I tried to be really, really efficient. Got on a bunch of deer leases, and that, just it was a win-win for everybody. And so I did that for 4 years, and I said, well, man, I'd like to go out of state. I mean, I see all these guys being able to do it, and it's just another challenge. And I'm very, very goal oriented, probably like many of your listeners, or even you.
Mm-hmm.
And I just one day put the pencil to the paper and started getting everything figured out, how much it was going to cost me, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. So I guess in this development, is there one thing about coyotes other than like that differ from, your bobcats or your foxes, even wolves, like that drew you to like kind of really kind of start to focus in on coyotes?
So there was a lot of the little small farms. Like I said, I worked on a couple of them as a farmhand growing up.
Okay.
And they would always have coyotes getting into, their when they're calving, or even the afterbirth, or just trying to come up and be an opportunistic animal. And it was the biggest predator that we also had in Ohio that I could legally trap. We cannot legally trap bobcats in Ohio.
Okay.
So far, we're the only Midwestern state that doesn't allow bobcat trapping.
Thanks, Ohio.
Yeah, although I took out 14 bobcats in a month in one county of Ohio. So I caught them and released them.
Yeah.
When I say,
I bet that's a dangerous situation.
It is.
So pretty much it's a giant board and you walk in on them.
No, I use a like a dog warden pole.
Oh, really?
Yep, loop it around their kind of like you're doing like a rear naked choke to them. You get under their armpit and around their neck, and then just pull, like kind of tightly. You don't cinch it down completely, but you snug it up.
Right.
Pin them, push them down to the ground, take the trap off, move them away. You want to make sure that if you ever do release a bobcat, or even like a bigger lion, don't have any. Like, don't have your truck parked there. Don't have your side by side, because they will run underneath of it and just sit there.
No.
Yeah, it's
you're in a sticky situation.
Learned that lesson the hard way, man.
So let's dive into a little bit of Coyote Academy, and then once we hit our break, I've got a kind of an off the wall question about scent lures and stuff like that, and how you come up with those. But let's tell the viewers. I mean, we're talking to Colt from Coyote Academy, and he came up with this on his own, and it really is. I mean, it's very affordable to learn how to trap. I mean, it's going to take a lot of time, and I think one of the things that you stress is it's going to take your success is determined by your work ethic.
Yeah.
And I saw that quite a bit through your website, and I really appreciated that, because this isn't I'll try this on a weekend or something like this. This is something that you're helping farmers, you're helping ranchers, you're
Mhm.
helping these guys, and it takes your whole heart and dedication because they're doing the same for you.
Right.
Um, so
Oh yeah.
so talk a little bit about the academy.
So Coyote Academy is essentially um, something I had thought about throughout the years, and since I didn't have any formal education, I learned everything by book, by video. So I thought, well, I did all that over these, say 10, 15 years. Why can't I just kind of get that segmented up into a course online? It's 10.99 a month. I mean,
Yeah, right. That's why I'm saying like this is a it's a phenomenal deal here.
and and the thing is there's always new videos being, so every time I learn something, or if I have a success or failure,
Yeah.
I will post that. I'm not afraid to show my failures, because you don't really fail unless you quit. So I'm not going
Right.
to quit trying to be successful at trapping, or,
Yep.
or efficient, or even proficient. So with that being said, you get to see all that online, and that's pretty much almost real time. Once I get the
Right.
video done, like once I get it all taken, I edit it usually in one to two nights,
Oh
and then
wow.
try and get it uploaded. So I put a lot of stuff on YouTube, but then
Hmm.
I cut out all the informational, some of the big informational pieces, and
Right.
put those on the masterclass side. So with that, though, you also get to go to a private forum. You're not going to get on that forum and you're not going to see, did LeBron James win the scoring record? You're going to
Yeah.
get on there and see, you're going to see outdoorsman stuff,
Yeah.
topics, or even nuisance trapping, or even guys getting on there and be like, hey, I had a fellow reach out to me in Indiana, wanted to pay me, good money to
Yeah.
come out there and trap, and well, I could punt that to someone if I knew other individuals in Indiana. I do, but I don't know if they're
Right.
in that area. And I would much rather offer that to someone on the class than just a freebie to someone else.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and
and
it's
with
just that.
with you get to, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
Oh,
interrupt
you're
you.
good. You're good. Go for it.
But with the master class, you you get the private forum, you get the all the free private videos, you get a 25% discount on all products. So you get, a member deal. Even if you want to renew that following year, you can use that 25% discount on
Hmm.
already the discounted $120 fee for a year subscription.
Whew.
So
Man, you're talking. Good gosh, you're talking like catch poles. I mean, you're talking about a lot of stuff: first aid kit, action cameras, drones, like stuff that you're selling, and your lures and all the stuff like that. Um, Man, I just sit here and I think about my area that I hunt in Oklahoma and how beneficial because what please if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, go check out Coyote Academy because I found him through Facebook. That's where I found him through. And like he has some shorts or reels, whatever your Facebook calls them.
right.
Um, but like you hit like there'd be a shot of you walking up to your traps and you've got like 6 or 7 coyotes all at once.
Yeah.
Like how's that possible?
You got to find the grocery store, man. Uh,
Apparently you're very good at finding grocery stores. I'm
yeah.
surprised you're not
I mean,
bigger.
yeah. Not those little small Dollar Generals. You got to find the big
Dude,
markets.
you're finding the super centers. I mean,
Yeah.
it really is impressive. And how often does that happen for you?
So like I went out and I trap Oklahoma,
Hmm.
and when I go out of state, that's where I trap. Everyone always goes to Kansas and they go to like the Dodge City and Garden City,
Right,
but I didn't want to be like a tag along and go out.
right.
So I did. All the laws changed really for Oklahoma
Okay,
when it comes to trapping. You used to have to put signs out in the yard as a non-resident saying I got trapped here. You don't
gotcha.
have to do that anymore unless the landowner requests it. So
Okay,
if you're on private ground trapping, you don't have to put those signs out anymore. And you used to only be able to bring like 50 traps
Mm.
to, so, um, but anyways, to segue back to what you're saying, I go out to Oklahoma, and when I go out there, I'm usually there for anywhere from a week to 10 days. And I usually average around 20. Last year we averaged 20 coyotes, and then this year I went solo and did 21 coyotes a day.
A
So
day.
21 coyotes a day. Yeah,
Holy crap.
I did 104 coyotes in 5 days.
Dude, the landowners up there have to love you.
Oh,
They
I'll
Dylan.
tell you what, they say it's like the Bible Belt. Is it correct? Is that
Yep. Uh-huh.
those those folks out there are so generous and nice, and
They're
I
good
mean,
people.
yeah, I mean it's unreal.
Okay. We're gonna jump in here with a break, a word from our sponsors. But on the backside of this, I've got a harebrained idea about a lure that I heard about that I have to find out if it's legit or not. Unmatched precision with the Ruger American Gen 2. In the heart of the wilderness, precision matters. Ruger introduces the American Gen 2 rifle. Designed for hunters who demand excellence, the Ruger American Gen 2 offers enhanced accuracy, smooth bolt action, and durable design. It's the perfect companion for any hunting expedition, providing reliable performance every time you pull the trigger. Trust the Ruger American Gen 2 to deliver when it counts. Visit Ruger.com to learn more and find your next hunting rifle. It's time to prepare for the shot of a lifetime. Whether you're a seasoned hunter or new to the sport, preparation is key. I preach it all the time. At Range Ready Studios, we offer the training you need to make that shot of a lifetime. Chris Serino is on staff, and he has a host of instructors on hand to provide personalized trainings in state-of-the-art facilities and practical exercises that build your confidence and skills. From precision marksmanship to quick target acquisition, we've got you covered. Don't leave your success to chance. Visit rangereadystudios.com to learn more. In the backcountry, every ounce counts. When the hunt takes you to the extremes, the Savage Ultralight Elite is built to go the distance. Featuring a carbon fiber wrapped barrel and an MDT HNT 26 stock for perfect balance. The Ultralight Elite is engineered for hunters who demand performance at the highest elevations. Precision, power, all in a rifle weighing under 6 pounds. The Savage Ultralight Elite, designed for the backcountry, built for the hunt. Let's talk about powder. Hodgdon.com. That's where you find a lot of your powder needs. Let's talk more about Winchester Stay-Ball Match. This temperature-insensitive double base ball powder is stable in extreme hot or cold conditions. So to me, what that means is if I'm reloading in the hot temperatures of Louisiana, man, when I take off to Oklahoma and the temperatures absolutely tank, I can count on that ammunition. I can count on that powder to be stable. And, typical of a ball powder, precise metering contributes to consistent velocity and pressure with lower standard deviations, ingredients that are paramount to match grade accuracy. Now, you're looking at, with Stay Ball Match, what you're looking at is 223 Remington, 224 Valkyrie, 22-250, 308 Winchester, and 30-06. And a couple more that if you want to test it out. So find out more about Winchester Stay Ball Match at hodgdon.com/Winchester. All right, we're back with Colt from Coyote Academy. Give him a look. Coyote-academy.com. You're going to find a bunch of products there. You're going to find the masterclass. And if you're looking at a class, just to help you either grow your skills as a beginner or refine them. As if you're a master trapper, man, I'm telling you, Colt's got it going on. Just check his stuff out. I'm enamored here because I hate coyotes. I do. They decimate our fawn populations. They're hell on, ranchers and stuff like that. So they've got to be controlled, and Colt's definitely the guy pushing the envelope out there. Okay. Colt, I'm going to give you a hard one here. And now be honest if you've ever heard this or call me out But if you haven't tried it, I want you to try it and then get back with me and tell me if it works. So I was talking to a trapper out in, no, it was a guide. He wasn't the trapper. So the guide tells me maybe he's full of crap. But he sits there and he says, "Okay, here's how I catch coyotes." He goes, "This is the best lure I found." He goes, "You're not going to believe me, but what he does is he has this little auto sensor that he puts in a hole, and he sprays it with Chanel number 5. I'm not lying. This is what he says. Chanel number 5. And he says, so coyote finds that, sticks his hole in the nose, and then the motion sensor goes off, spritzes a little cyanide in his nostrils, and then he dies. Did he pull one over on me?
So I've heard of the cyanide guns for sure.
Okay. But
But
the Chanel number 5.
I've never heard of Chanel number 5. No.
Okay, man, I will get you a bottle of it, and I'm gonna send it to you to try. Just go. Let's see.
I'll put it on a trail cam.
Yes, but that's what he said. He was like, he goes, "You won't believe me," and I still to this day I don't, because I've never tried it, or I haven't spoken to anybody who has heard about it.
Right.
So, but he said Chanel number 5, and then he says for his bobcats that he traps out in Texas, he says he uses CDs in trees.
Yep.
That's legit.
Yep, that's legit.
Okay, maybe he's not fooling me with the old Chanel number 5.
Yeah. Well, I know. So I don't know. I've never heard of it. Maybe he puts his lure or his scent in a Chanel number 5 bottle.
Maybe.
I don't know. But I do know.
But why
that
would it be a Chanel number 5 bottle? Why couldn't he, like, I mean, he could get something a lot, probably less expensive. I don't even know how much Chanel number 5 cost.
maybe
Maybe it isn't it isn't expensive.
his wife might be bougie.
Oh, he's using his wife's perfume as oh, that guy's screwed. Yeah, it's $108 a bottle.
Does it have castor in it?
Oh, it might.
Castoreum?
It
Because
might.
a
I
lot
don't know.
of beaver castors used in perfumes.
Okay. Man. I mean, it's got hints of May, rose, jasmine, bourbon, vanilla. I bet it's the bourbon.
Yep, has to be.
It's got to be the bourbon, I'm telling you. But so you talk about lures that you sell online. How do you come up with your formulas and what they like and what they're attracted to? Are you just reading what you've seen all these years?
Yeah, so Pocatello, I believe that's in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
Pocatello. Yeah, they did a lot of research studies, government research studies, and those are all published. So you can look those up and read about them. But fatty acid scent is if you break down fats into fatty acids, you have lipids, and then you break them down further into fatty acids. And so you're pretty much skunk fat is a really good attractant once it's broke down. It has a pretty much kind of like a sweet rancid smell, really, but it's a fatty acid. Fish
Right.
oil, you catch a lot of bullhead and you want to make fish oil, you can make it out of the belly meat or the belly fat. And it makes a very good, once it's broken down, it makes a very good scent. And
Okay.
then what you pretty much do is either you're fortunate enough to have a recipe already given to you, or you have to kind of formulate your own off of what you think. And luckily, I had a few older mentors that were kind enough to say, "Hey, look, I think this will serve you well if you're going to try and pursue this. Just don't screw it up."
That's man.
Yeah.
Don't screw it up. I mean, I wouldn't want to screw it up. But and you offer I got to know what this is. What is canine pudding?
It's yeah, so that's it's called Comanche
Uh-huh.
is the name, and it's pretty much just a concoction of glands and other types of lure bases that I use, and then it has a little bit of castor and some other additives to it,
Okay.
just to preserve it. Like sodium benzoate is a preservative, methylparaben is a preservative. Your benzoates are going to, like, really work on your bacterias, whereas in your parabens are going to work on your fungi. so you're not getting
Right.
fungus in it. It's just like if you're trying to preserve
Uh-huh.
food, you know.
Yeah. That's interesting. Man, this is learning so much. How much so if someone reaches out to you, like, a farmer in, let's say, Western Oklahoma who really likes his deer and hates the coyotes, how much acreage, how much acreage can you work with? I mean, are you working with a lot of smaller farms? Are you working with a lot of big ranches? How do you go about finding the right piece of property to hunt coyotes on?
I try to find the livestock, honestly, whether where there's livestock or where there's deer ranches, um, even out on the plantations out east,
Hmm.
um, on those guys' ranches, I guess as you can call them, but they call them plantations.
Yeah.
Um, it doesn't really matter on the acreage. It just matters on the what hub you have,
Right.
what source, where are they all going to funnel into. Um, and out in Oklahoma where I trap, I have probably over 150,000 acres that I
Right.
trap on. Um,
Okay.
and some are, um, guys with livestock, and then some are just ag ground, whether that's Milo or, trapping on center pivots where the water's at. It's so dry out in, Oklahoma, that
Yeah.
they need water, they need food. So you find those two resources, you kind of got it whipped.
Yeah.
If you have a water trough, or they have all of them sitting around where there's livestock,
Right.
there's going to be
Yeah.
water there.
Man, it's fascinating to think because you're going through this and I'm going, okay, yeah, I know where that is on my property. I'm just thinking, and I think that's where the master class would benefit a guy like
Yeah,
me is because if you have property or you want to get into this, that would be the route that you would need to go. Like you're starting to think, and I think you spur a lot of thought in your classes and in
I
your
try.
instructional videos.
Yeah, and especially with the private forum, because if guys don't understand something on a video, they can literally take a picture of it, put it right on the forum, and be like, "Hey, what's going on with this?"
Yeah.
Or, can you elaborate a little bit more on that? And it's just it the way we go with the way we have it set up. I had someone go through and set this site up.
Hmm.
So the way that we set it up, I tried to make it as user friendly as possible. Not having to get photo bucket and then download
Right.
that and share it to a forum. Have you
Yeah.
been on any of those forums?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's sometimes it gets rough.
It is rough. It's tedious.
Yeah.
It makes it not worth it. And really, and you go to any public forum, go to any
Mhm.
of them, you do not know what you're going to get.
No.
Like that's the thing. It's the Wild West. They're not vetted. You're not getting a lot of good not monetization, monitoring.
Yeah.
You're not getting a lot of that. And
Right.
I think this type of forum would really benefit, especially a newbie like myself.
Oh yeah. And that's
So,
the thing too, is there's a lot of guys on there that have knowledge. A lot of, like, my mentor is on that site, and we don't poke fun. We don't say that's the dumbest question I ever heard. Because I've been there. We've all been there.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
oh
so
yeah,
I try not to belittle anyone.
yeah, and
Trying.
that's important because man, I don't like me asking the Chanel number 5. You could have gone, dude. I think you're getting hosed, but how do you know if you don't ask someone who knows what they're talking about before I go spend $108 for a coyote lure that probably doesn't work? I guess I could give it to my wife.
Yeah.
She was like, "Why do I have half a bottle? Like, who did you take this from?" Like, then the question, then I got a lot of answer to. No, honey, I swear, it was for coyote bait. She's like, coyote bait, really? Yeah, that's how it is. Um, so when is the best time to trap?
And well, that just, it really depends on if you're going for prime fur or if you're going for predation work.
Okay,
Um, Prime fur, you're going to wait to obviously your later months, when it gets cold. and they say, daylight does a lot with it. And um, I don't really buy into that whole philosophy. I trap as
Okay.
soon as I can. I love trapping. I love being out there. I love the challenges, the
Oh yeah.
adversities, the triumphs. So I start as early as I can. And when you start early, you're catching the young of the year, maybe those 1 to 2 year old pups that, haven't really been out and about as much,
Right.
but they have beautiful fur. Their fur is because they haven't been through too many years where they have, laid down and got froze stuck to the ground and pulled out their guard hairs, or
Right.
they've been in fights, or they've got shot at, or, went through barbed wire and just,
Yeah.
damaged. So you get a really good pelt. And then I also sell tanned fur. And I get that. I don't have it on my website yet. I'm in the process. I'm in the infancy of getting it all
Yep.
done. So that's what I do. I go out there and I try and help those landowners out west. But then I try not to waste the fur or waste the animal. So I take the glands out. I take the
Okay.
skulls off if I can, the baculums. I try to repurpose every part of that animal. Um, because as much as I want to get rid of them, I also really, really respect that animal.
Right.
Um, because you try and get rid of them, they just keep coming.
They do. They
you
do.
know?
You're right. That's cool that you're able to repurpose everything and really, because there's a lot of guys out there that, I mean, probably not most trappers. I feel that most trappers are doing it for the right reasons. Like if they're
Yeah.
going to invest the time, and it sounds like the money, because
Yep.
I've got way too many hobbies. It
Yep.
sounds like to start spending, $300 per trap, like especially on some good ones or whatever you might need. Like
Right.
they're doing it for the right reasons.
Oh yeah. Yeah. A lot of guys, there's knuckleheads in every outdoor genre or cohort, but a lot of guys are doing it all for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And those are the guys I look up to. And I don't want to sit here and have your audience think I'm the king or the creme de la creme. I'm not. There's a lot of guys out there that are, you know, they
Oh
probably
yeah.
forgot more about trapping than I know.
But man, you know a lot more. You know that much more than I do. I mean, so I mean, you know a ton.
Yeah.
Uh,
And most of those guys are getting up into their 60s. I think the average age for trapping for a trapper is 62.
wow.
So we're losing a lot of the younger generation in trapping. And that was one reason I started posting publicly, was to try and get maybe some of the younger guys. I'm 34. I'd like to get some of the 20 to 30-year-old
Right.
gents, or even ladies involved. But I get a lot of backlash from that. A lot of people,
Oh yeah.
you know, I got telephone threats. Like, I don't know.
Man.
If you want, I can try and play the voicemail.
Oh my gosh. Yes,
Is
do
this,
that because that's
is it,
amazing.
is
I'm
it,
sorry. I want to hear it.
is this PG-13? Because
Oh
this,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's PG-13. I mean, there's threats thrown about all over the place.
no, I mean, like, do you allow cussing?
Oh yeah,
Does
yeah.
this,
We can beep that. We can beep that.
okay, okay.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
So we're playing a threat to Colt from Coyote Academy.
Hey, mother, I'm gonna kill you. You and your whole family for killing all those animals. I will kill you. I come to Columbus, Ohio, and I would root you. I would destroy you, mother.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
He sounds serious. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh! I don't. For all the critters I've killed, I don't think I've received something. I mean, that's a badge of honor right there.
Well,
Congratulations.
I mean, I try and put it out to the public so they can see it, and I don't try and do them, I don't try and do those any animals any ill harm
No,
on video or anything. I try to be as um,
as humane as
humane as
possible.
I possibly can. Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, but a guy like that, this is a prime example of someone who doesn't know what they're talking about, that leads just first with their, like, I could tell you probably what kind of yard sign that guy has in his yard. I
Yeah,
can tell you
yeah,
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't lead with logic. He doesn't lead with science. It's an emotional response for him. That's a creature that, how could you kill that? Come on, cut me a break here. Like, you know what that thing does to fawn like populations
Oh
on
yeah.
whitetail? Or, I mean, that thing's killing way more than you have. Way more.
Yep. They don't see that though.
No,
They don't get that.
it's emotion driven. That's all it is. It's emotion. Now I'm gonna get on my soapbox. I better not do that.
Well, well, KJ, let me tell you, they called two other times after that, and I answered. The first time I wasn't able to answer. I answered,
Right.
and they just hung up.
Oh, that's the
So
guy. I definitely know what kind of yard sign they have.
yeah, so I wanted it to be documented, so I called my local police department and then called my cell phone carrier, and they both said, "I'm sorry, we can't do anything to help you." And I said, I figured that as
Yeah,
much,
but
and
at least you
it's
called.
documented.
Yep, it's documented. So, man, I hate to hear that you get those kind of calls, but I mean, we get our fair share of hate around here too, and
Oh yeah,
it is what it is. Like, it's not going to change what I do.
it's just a hurdle. You just got to get over
Yep,
it.
that's right, man. Colt, dude, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and answering a random Facebook message. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed talking with you.
It was a pleasure, man. It really was.
Man, you guys go check them out. Coyote-Academy.com. Go look them up. Are you on Instagram?
I'm on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok.
Everything. It is worth a look. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. And I'm gonna have to tell you, I know what I'm asking for Christmas now. I'm gonna start trapping some coyotes. So, so anyway, Colt, thank you so much.
Not a problem.
All right, all you gun talkers, you gun talk hunters, you know the drill. Keep those muzzles pointing in a safe direction and always be on the hunt.